Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001, because between you and me, they're way past cool.
Hello my friends, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with the next part of Dylan D's commission, E-123 Omega. Man, it was not that long ago that I made one of these, and now I'm making another one. And I got another one that's going to be coming up soon-ish, so yeah, Omega. It seems that the entirety of Team Dark is actually pretty popular this year, what with all the Rouges and now the Omegas coming in as well. Okay, so as usual, the base toy was that Thrilling 30 Legends Optimus Prime. So we don't really need to see him all dismantled again. And as you know, I make a whole bunch of 3D printed parts for him these days. The shins, the feet, the parts of the torso, the forearms, hands, and of course that head. Most of which I made myself in Tinkercad and I'm quite proud of. The feet, of course, came from someone else's Omega model because, well, you know, the feet were a little bit more complicated. But yeah, let's go ahead and start building up the Omega figure from good old Optimus. Okay, so I think the best place to start is with the look at the torso, because I did do something a little bit different here. As usual, I took those two little half circles and stuck them onto the figure's front and back so that they could make the ring shape that is Omega's upper torso. But then I realized something. The last time I made Omega using this method, I felt like his balance was off. Like, as you can see, the front comes out way farther than the back does, which is sort of the reverse of how Omega actually looks. Like, he's supposed to have more in the back, I'm assuming as fuel tanks for the rocket packs, but what I'm getting at is that it was a little bit backwards last time. That's when I realized that all I had to do was rotate the waist joint around 180 degrees so that the figure's back was now the front, and that would make everything work proportionally. So that's what I did. Of course, it's not going to show up in these two pictures, but you'll see later on down the line. So as for more 3D printed things, let's go through the process. The head is a single 3D printed piece, so there's really nothing to it except to repaint it. And then there is integration with the 3D printed parts I made for the actual articulated bits. As you can see, the shin, which attaches to the Optimus kneecap after cutting it away from the rest of the leg, and the forearm after cutting off most of Optimus's arm except for a little piece of the elbow joint, and a little bit of hand sculpting to make the shoulder look more like Omega's shape, and of course to integrate these sculpted the 3D printed parts with Optimus's original parts. Pulling back, you can see the legs completed with a repaint job and everything. Once again, I use Mega Constructs ball joints from an Ekans figure from the Pokemon line to integrate the 3D printed feet onto the bottoms of these legs. And this time, I think I got the proportions quite a bit better. I think the last time I made my Omega, the legs were just a little bit too long. This one feels like it's going to be more proportionally sound. Okay, so now let's get back to that torso. Optimus's torso, not only with the 3D printed parts, but also quite a bit of hand sculpting to get that, I want to say cone shape, but it's like a cone trapezoid that ends with a flat end, graduated cylinder? No, that's not right. A tapering cylinder, yes. Omega's body is a tapering cylinder after a certain point, and, you know, I haven't found a way to 3D print a part for this because it needs to leave clearance so that the waist can still rotate around underneath it, but also solidly attached to the upper part. So far I haven't found any ways to shortcut this with my 3D printer. I just gotta have to do it. And the rocket nozzles are also 3D printed. Not 3D printed, they're made with epoxy sculpt as well. The ring around his waist starts out as 2 of those Mega Construx pieces that have like, you know, the actual connector pegs, but then the ball joint sticking out the side. Lego makes these as well, and I just had to cut a channel into them so that they stick onto the sides of Optimus's love handles. It's a little part of his midsection that sticks out that it's part of his transformation design, but it's a good attachment point for these things. They're held on with a combination of crazy glue and epoxy to make sure they don't go anywhere. But you know, it is a relatively fragile connection, which is why I always want to make sure that it's extra reinforced. Once that part is in, I took the other end of the ball joint, the part that has the ball as opposed to the socket, and sculpted on Omega's little hip skirts. With a proper paint job, these things go on quite easily, as you can see here, seen from below. Well, I also had to do a little bit of. This is funny because this is one of the smallest parts that I print in my 3D printer. They're these little curved parts of, like, it's part of a circle that I took the middle part out of, and then I printed twice so that two of them can be for this front bumper and then 2 more for the back bumper. All told, it connects around to using those Lego bricks to make Omega's little, for want of a better term, I'm going to call his belt, the thing that girds his midsection. It's actually a pain to make this. I kind of wish Omega didn't have it because it's just that much more complication. I wish that he just had a crotch plate like his older brother Gamma had, but oh, whatever. So with that's everything that has to do with Omega's torso. So let's get back to making his limbs. Those 3D printed forearms are now given their proper paint job, as are his shoulder bits, and his hands are simply stuck on there. Actually, yeah, basically done. I've already discussed all the parts, so we can go ahead and take a look at the completed Omega figure right now. Alright, there we go. Another proud Omega. Ready to stand and blow the crap out of all of his surroundings with a vast arsenal of just about every kind of murder device you can possibly think of, be they lasers, plasma beams, flamethrowers, or just good old-fashioned bullets. And don't forget that although Omega towers over his Mobian friends, by human standards, he's actually about the size of a 5th grader, because Omega is barely 4 feet tall, if that. Okay, so thank you all for watching my video, and stay tuned for more customs coming from Wake Angel 2001. So that is me, and I'm signing off.